The west side is the best side.
Welcome to the EatForBeauty Food Diary Show, where we showcase the power of one's relationship with food, vulnerability, self-compassion, validating each other's relationships with food, and showing how the relationship with food is a tool for growth and fully activating your highest self. I'm Kayla.
I'm Milan.
I'm Saskia.
We're three futuristic young women that have a deep respect for nature and for manifesting our innate gifts through our platform, Eat for Beauty DC. And Eat for Beauty DC is a startup based in DC that creates content, experiences, and communities supporting natural urban living with a focus on living food, self-sustainability, and self-awareness. We're rooted in a trio of soul sisterhood and committing to making holistic and plant-based living overall more accessible, especially among communities of color. And most importantly, we want to spread the awareness that we each have a relationship with food and an individual relationship with ourselves. And all of our content, experiences, and community is all centered around upholding the highest self and all beings being their most healthy, connected, and abundant self. So this is just one of our lifestyle systems that is going to support that, the Food Diary Show.
We hope to use this support system to each grow in our personal power by achieving our food goals and in turn further align to our highest selves. Our relationship with food matters because it's one of the most intimate relationships we have, and it's also often unseen or secretive due to feelings of shame, guilt, or just any overwhelming or overall negative feelings and emotions. In relation to our food choices, we're making our relationship with food public so that we can promote self-compassion, accountability, and support for each other and anyone who watches this.
Each week we keep a food diary like this, any sort of notebook, which can be kept in a notebook or a phone or anywhere where you write down how you consume and what you consume each day and how it makes you feel. And we also have individual health accountability checklists that we've created to gauge how we're progressing each week on our food goals. And our checklists are grounded in each of our personal self-care routines and what we each feel we need to uphold our highest health. We check in with each other at the middle of the week to see how we're doing and reflect on our food choices, and we also highlight the top 3 things that we feel fed our highest self during the week. We end the week with a team emotional check-in where we reflect more deeply about our relationships with food and what took place during the week. So we typically will do our emotional team check-ins in person, but due to social distancing and everything happening in the world right now, we're just going to be holding space for each other virtually until we can all come back together. And each week we're going to be sharing a mantra, an inspiration that kind of guides the flow and just helps our support system. So this week I'm choosing the mantra found by Dana Machacek, care but don't carry. You can check out the post here. And that mantra, care but don't carry, really just reminded me of how we're operating in the way of, being mindful, having this intention with everything as far as how we're moving our choices, everything, but also not harboring or holding on to feelings that don't serve our highest good or are sustainable. So we can care about what's going on, we can be connected and attuned, but we don't have to carry things that don't serve us. And we have to move forward in the way that's lightest and most sustainable for our health on all levels. So that's what that inspired to me. And then this week's inspiration is from someone we've been following called Eat Your Earth Tones, and she's really great. And she shared this hearty homemade benevolent soup. Although we're all aspiring to be raw and on the living foods lifestyle, we really like to highlight good foods that are like warm but also healthy and full of life force. And this is a really cool recipe that has a plant-based veggie stock made from kitchen scraps. And I really was inspired by this post because it tapped into like the sustainable aspect and like something we always talk about just as far as being resourceful and using what you have. And it was also like pretty appetizing and cool looking. So each week we'll be sharing what's inspiring us and helping us just push forward to our food goals, as well as a mantra to share with you guys and hopefully inspire you as well.
Hello. Okay, maybe check-in. I pooped every single day this week except yesterday. And I didn't go yesterday because I didn't drink any water. I just had one of these when I woke up, and then I just blazed through the day. And why was I blazing through the day? Because I was rushing because I woke up late. Even if I woke up late, I really have to deactivate the stress, accept where I am, and calmly go through the day. Because even if I was rushing, it created a drag effect. This week in general, though, the two highlights have been, I've been making smoothies just for efficiency because they're filling and they're quick. I've been making smoothies just off the break, very intuitive. Some come out good, some don't. I drink all of them though. So Monday was celery, apple, sunflower, milk. That was bomb. Flax seeds and sea moss, and then also on Monday, I started using alkaline mayonnaise. And it started off as pate because I had sunflower seeds. So I was like, let me just make a pate. But then I put lemon, garlic, turmeric, olive oil, a dash of salt, and Dijon mustard. And it tastes like mayonnaise. It really tastes like mayonnaise. I mean, it's high bright yellow, but it tastes like mayonnaise. So I've had that throughout the week, and that's made me feel really good. Now, Tuesday, I was in the conversation of, am I being greedy or not? Am I being greedy or not? Because I was eating like every hour and a half. And I had a green smoothie in the morning with celery, apple, flaxseed, spirulina. I ain't had no greens this week, so celery was like my go-to. And I never use protein powder, but I got this at Daybreaker. It was alright. And then I had a delicious raspberry, hemp seed, ginger, the volcanic agave, and spirulina with sprouts, with sunflower sprouts. That was good. And then I harvested 3 trays of sunflower sprouts this week, so I don't have any greens this week. So that has been my greens, all the sunflower sprouts. And that feels good to say. And we are all getting there. Okay. I felt some type of way because I was eating all day. But came 6, 7 o'clock, I wasn't in the mood to eat for real. Because I had been eating all day. And that felt good. Oh, and you know what? I also pooped that night. So Monday and Tuesday. And then was eating in those increments like that. I feel like that helped. So yesterday was an intense day in the way of stress and food, but it still went really well. Today's Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday. I had a blueberry, sunflower, buckwheat, flax smoothie. Didn't come out good, but it was thick, it was filling, it was clean, perfect. I had tortilla chips and salsa. That was kind of on the unintentional side. I had this Chinese cabbage soup, though, from the broth I was telling you guys about last week that I had in a mason jar. It took like 5 minutes to make the soup. I put some wakame in it. It was bomb. And that was intentional. On the night before, when I was like, what am I going to eat tomorrow? That was like in the frame. So happy I made that. And then I had ginger honey tea. And then I had nori wrap with turmeric alkaline mayonnaise, sprouts, tomatoes, sauerkraut, 2 hard-boiled eggs. Today, I had mango, buckwheat, raspberry, flax, coconut milk, sea moss smoothie, and sprouts with sunflower sprouts. That wasn't good, but it was thick. It was filling. It was clean. So that's what I went with. And I had a lot of it too, but it was really filling though. So I think between the flax and the buckwheat, that's a go to get like that dense vibe, like to feel heavy, to feel full. And then I had salmon, brown rice, edamame, and steamed veggies because I ordered this because I didn't want to spend time making food, and I did feel conflicted some about it wasn't in the energy that I wanted it to be, but I don't want to dwell on it, and I'm really just surrendering to come into a place where I'm at peace about what I'm eating, because it felt good though.
I'm feeling good overall. I feel grateful. I feel as calm as I can be, and I'm just in deep acceptance for everything that's taking place in the world, and then just also in my inner world. I'm always in the balance of pretty much just trying to focus on what I want to grow and improve within my life and in the physical, while also just acknowledging that I'm really growing, I'm really doing a great job, and there's a lot to celebrate. So I feel good, and that's definitely reflected in my food choices overall. To be honest, I haven't felt very present in using my food diary. This is my food diary. I've kind of just been like rushing and writing down what it is, or just ending my day coming back to the food diary, but I'm doing it, and I definitely make sure that I write everything. It's as detailed as it can be for me, but I feel okay. I feel at peace with my food choices. Pretty much every day I'm drinking sea moss, either in a tea form or in a shake form with like hemp seed milk. So that's just like progress for me in so many ways, because I've been wanting to be on that regimen for a while, and I'm finally there, so that feels really good. I'm at least having my medicinal green smoothie, which is usually kale, cucumber, ginger, lime, some sort of fruit like apple, pear, or cara orange, and water or coconut water, as well as aloe, which is really what gives it the medicinal punch. And yeah, so I'm on my essentials as far as my medicinal smoothie and my sea moss, which feels good. As a result of what I've eaten, I feel all right. This week I'm on my moon cycle, so that has impacted some cravings that I'm having. I definitely am wanting more warm and heavy foods, but my standard for comfort or indulgent food is still very like healthy in my mind. So like I've been wanting a really good like mac and cheese with kamut pasta and some almonds that I soaked. So I'm thinking to make that today for lunch, which is really exciting. And then I might do like a healthy spelt pizza. So those are like the things that have really been on my mind, just that I'm craving. But I feel really good. I do want to feel more connected to my food and more connected to the food diary process. So that is something I want to implement from this day forward. And in making my health accountability log, the checklist, that has been helpful for me just to really just think about the specifics of what I need. So yeah, pretty much I've laid it out. Medicinal smoothie, sea moss, tea or shake, or seaweed, superfoods like black seeds, neem, fruit powder, turmeric, or ginger, and 2 to 3 jars of mason jars of water, as well as sprouts or microgreens, and then sauerkraut or some form of probiotic. And my health accountability checklist is grounded in an AM and a PM routine, which I ideally want to be waking up at 6 a.m. and I want to be going to bed by 10 p.m. And I want to be opening and closing each day with meditation, yoga, nature time, writing, reading, working on music, and having some fluid movement or dance. So I have a clear, gentle checklist of my needs that are going to help support where I want to be in my relationship with food, and that feels really good and grounding. But the main takeaway for my midweek is that water. I've been talking to you guys a lot about, for like probably over a year, about how I need to be drinking more water. And I had a real breakthrough, and I'm just like, I need to implement an actual like accountability goal for myself to make sure I'm drinking enough water. So I'm like, okay, rather than looking at the gallon jar, I'm gonna look at mason jars, the 32-ounce mason jar, which I drink those every day for my smoothies or teas or whatever. So I'm just gonna say I'm gonna drink at least 2 to 3 of these jars of water every day and just make sure I'm refilling them. And I know I could be drinking more, but that's just my minimum because I have a hard time drinking enough water and just retaining liquid. So that was a breakthrough. I feel really good about that. Yeah, that's my midweek check-in.
Hey y'all, Saskia here with my midweek check-in. So one of the questions is, how do I feel with the food choices I've made so far? So far I feel like okay, like not, I feel like comme ci, comme ça, so good, not bad. Like the food choices I've actually made have been pretty good, but I just am feeling apprehensive about staying consistent. And I know that the food diary and doing this check-in is definitely helping me with the consistency because it's holding me accountable. But I'm just like, I guess, feeling a little slight amount of anxiety because I want to I just want to succeed and do it well. But I know that there's no such thing as failure, and I'm just going to get better and better at it. But I am feeling just a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of apprehension. But in terms of what I've actually eaten, I have had a nice amount of living foods, sprouts. I bought the wild brine living sriracha, and I really like that. So I've been adding that to like I made like a vegan chili, and I added that to my chili, and I'm just excited to maybe I don't know, just use it on other things. But I like the spice, and I just really like that wild brine brand. It's really good. And I bought cocoa yogurt, and it's like the GT brand. It's like a living food. It's interesting for sure. Definitely interesting. So I'm just happy that I've just been incorporating more live foods so far. I've had one juice, and I do want to make a sea moss smoothie, which I haven't made yet. So I need to push to it's so easy. So I just really need to make one of those. In terms of balancing my responsibilities and making food, that definitely needs some work. I feel like I have been lacking a little awareness, and then I get to the point where I'm just doing things, or even not doing things, and then I get to a point where I'm like really hungry, and then when I get to the point where I'm really hungry, I am rushing making food, which is keeping me less connected to the food. Like, I'm not making the food with as much intention. Like, I know the food is healthy, but I would like to be activating the energy that I put in the food while I make it. And so rushing and waiting till the last minute has not been good. But maybe if I just start, I think just incorporating more herbal teas, more hot teas, or like heating up some almond milk with some coconut oil to just like soothe me is going to be a good way to just slow me down a little bit, or just like sipping on some water might help. And so yeah, wanting to put more intention in my food, wanting to feel more connected, the balance with like work life balance in terms of making food could use some work. But the food that I've actually made has been healthy and delicious, like really good. And I guess I did kind of like, I went to the grocery store on Monday to get food, and I had these dang rice crisps. They're like kind of small, but it was like sriracha flavored. Like, it was so good. I definitely like crushed the whole bag, which was fine, but again, like I don't want to be like crushing bags of like chips. Like, that's a snack. So like I need to be prioritizing before I leave the house. Like, that's just a well-known fact. Like, you should have food in your belly before you leave the house, so you don't like buy everything up. So yeah, I'm feeling good so far, and looking forward to the rest of the week.
So, emotional check-in time.
Emotional check-in is where we all give space to each other to talk about our relationship with food throughout the week. So we talk about our general feelings and how we balance life and making uplifting foods, and anything else regarding food we talk about week. As I said in the midweek check-in, I had lots and lots of smoothies because I didn't want to put too much time into what I was eating. But they still came out pretty timely. It took about 45 minutes each. That was my high point. All of my low points this week derived from the same place, and it's feeling at peace with work and really securing my root chakra. So I really want to put meditations forth and really get into rituals of that I'm doing a good job. And the more I support myself and tell myself I'm doing a good job, because even still, this week was better than last.
I can go next.
You want to go? Okay.
I'll go next. Yeah, I'll go
Cool.
next. I guess I'll start with my highs. I felt like this week I incorporated sprouts and like living sriracha or sauerkraut to like almost, except for when I did oatmeal for a few of my breakfasts, but like all my other meals, I had sprouts or I had like a living fermented sriracha or living sauerkraut. So I was happy about that. And then like a lot of my meals, like I'm not in peace. But with doing the food meditation, it gets me a little bit more grounded and it helps me take my time. But I don't know, I'm just feeling like there's like almost this like angst to just like start eating. I'm grateful for the meditation because that like helps slow me down, but that's just something I definitely noted.
Great. So you're feeling in the flow about the food, like using the food diary. Do you feel
Yeah,
good about it?
I'm feeling really good about it because I feel like using the food diary is making me slow down. It's making me recall and think about what I've eaten during the week. And it's pushing me to incorporate. It's just having the like knowing that I need to fill out the checklist, it helps me incorporate like, oh, did I need to take my iron? Oh, I need to like let me add some sprouts because like I want to add like some at least if I'm eating a cooked meal, because I have had like quite a few cooked meals, at least I'm adding some sprouts or something living to every single meal. So the checklist in the back of my mind is like, okay, don't forget to add something living. So it's just like my little reminder.
I'm just looking at my past few days, and yeah, definitely some good reflections. I shared this in my midweek, similar to what you were saying, Saskia. I do want to be more present with the food diary, just writing it, and I want to be more thorough with it. But in preparing for today, I definitely was just a little more mindful and like adding things and details to like as far as like the amounts and like how it made me feel and the ingredients and stuff of certain things. I'm feeling good. Definitely want to, I said this last week, but make more time for food meditation and just preparing my body to eat. I think I do feel more grounded stepping into this week post all of the preparation and conversations we've had on the business front. So I think I'll be a lot more grounded in my daily routine and just giving myself enough time to eat, not just making food while I'm working or just having food while I'm working and stuff. But yeah, I think it's come with just making this working at home vibe that's brought a little bit of challenge to as far as the presence when I'm eating. But what I'm eating has been good. My highlights and like high points this week, I also shared this in my midweek. The main highlight was definitely just really actually implementing a goal with water intake, and that's been one of my main challenges. and I'm finally actually just like putting it on the forefront of my mind. Like I think I just been talking about it, but I haven't actually been providing a solution. So I'm holding myself to, rather than thinking about the gallon jars, or just like gallon jugs, I'm just using like my mason jar as a track. Like I want to be drinking 2 to 3 of these mason jars and just build from there. So that has been my high point. Also, what I shared with you guys, the sunflower sprouts. So for the first time, just doing the full process of sprouting, planting, and caring for the sunflower sprouts, the microgreens. That's been really good, and I want to share more with like you guys, our audience, like how to do that. But it is definitely very empowering, and it's just the wave of what we're trying to be on, self-sustainability. And there are things we need to buy, but there's certain things that we can make ourselves more affordably. And it's also, yeah, it just feels really good to eat something that you put the work in to make. So that was like a big highlight for me, despite not being as present this week. Those are like really two big goals, the water and the sunflower sprouts, and I feel like more secure on those two goals coming into this next week. And then my low point isn't really like that low. So I mentioned in my midweek also that I wanted to make this mac and cheese, and I did make it, but I was running low on like the healthy version of pasta, the kamut spiral pasta that I use, and I only had like regular bow tie pasta, like semolina pasta. So I used a mix of both of them, and I didn't feel too bad about it, but the cheese was really good. It was like almond and Brazil nut cheese, and I did like a whole process for that. But that was like the main thing that I was just like, I didn't really want to do it, but I just wanted mac and cheese, and I wanted like the comfort.
So to wrap up, we should talk about our goals.
Goals.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna implement that as my goal to stop rushing while I'm eating. Cool.
Yeah, I'm on the same wave. I definitely just want to think ahead. I've been thinking ahead about what I want to eat, but just thinking about when I want to eat, and then in doing that, making time so I can enjoy it and be present.
Yeah, I'm wanting to definitely take my time with my food and think more of like think about the fact that me taking my time with while I eat is a sacred practice, and that I want to transmute the discomfort into like something really sacred. Like it's an honor to be able to take your time while eating.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
like a lot of times in life we do have to rush to eat, and that right now I get to tune into the fact that I don't have to rush, and like so it's just the habit changing. There's like a little discomfort with the habit changing. The change is, I think, what's causing the discomfort. And I'm like, I don't want to slow down. I just want to, but really it's an honor. So I want to this week transmute that and just work on slowing down also.
To say thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning
Yes.
in to our first
Thank you for watching.
episode of EFB Food Diary Show. And we hope that you can gain something to inspire your relationship with food. And yeah, stay tuned for our next episode.